Moving on, the realm of extreme sports is fairly new in Kenya, but picking up quite fast if the upcoming Mount Kenya Extreme Sports Challenge is anything to go by. Activities like rock climbing, diagonal races and sky marathons have been commonplace in developed countries but are now taking shape right here in Kenya. With Kenya's beautiful sceneries and natural geographical resources, sports tourism can go a notch higher and greatly improve Kenya's earnings. From the versatile sports industry, the games are fun too, refreshing and stimulating. Caroline Derry brings us the following piece on Mount Kenya Extreme Sports Challenge.
You use the wrong person for the right ladder, then you complicate the assignment for the team.
Such are the scenic sports in Kenya that many Kenyans are largely unaware of. Yet they offer endless possibilities to expand Kenya's sporting activities. You would be forgiven for assuming that this is a scene from a foreign production, but believe it or not, this is an attempt at rock climbing at the northern slopes of Mount Kenya forest. The Kenya School of Adventure and Leadership, KESAL, in partnership with other stakeholders, have decided to venture into the untested waters of extreme sports through events such as the Mount Kenya Extreme Sports Challenge, to be held next month from the 12th to 14th. The first episode of the event in Kenya was held last year.
We did it last year and we think we have learned a few things that we goofed about last year, and we think we are going to do it better.
This is one area that the tourism sector in this region would like to exploit. These things are not very well known to many people in this country.
Our journey to the Mount Kenya slopes with my colleague Samuel Munia is treacherous, rough terrain that welcomes you to the mountainous zone. Our Land Rover negotiating sports that only a car of its caliber can. And as is characteristic of mountain weather, we have to deal with a hailstorm at some point. Rock climbing is no child's play, as we discover.
Left leg yako ni gani? Left. Weka ka step kako juu.
And since it's fairly new in Kenya, equipment such as this rope has to be imported. It can lift weights of up to 2 tons. 1 meter costs about 1,000 Kenya shillings, and this one is 60 meters long.
Down there, the climber has a harness and is connected to this line, to this system, and also the helmet to protect the head.
Talk about bungee jumping, for example. This is a sport that you can only find in Victoria Falls. Yet we have very many spectacular waterfalls in the Aberdares and in Mount Kenya. So if investors come around, Mount Kenya Tourism has identified all the attraction sites in the region, some of which are very spectacular and thrilling. And we would be able to give them the GPRS map that we have done, and they could see all those sites and then engage KFS or KWS and start investing.
Another daredevil sport dubbed tower climbing involves a team of 4, required to participate in teamwork and climb all the way up through these ropes. No mean feat, as my colleague from the Standard Job Bureau discovered, inspiring me to partake in the exercise as well. Other activities that will feature in the 2012 Mount Kenya Extreme Sports include jungle races and sky marathon. If expanded, sports tourism can go a long way in developing the country while using the natural, God-given beautiful resources that Kenya boasts of.
In 2008, the Olympics kayaking sport was done here. So that is something that we can take advantage of. And we can, of course, diversify our sports from the usual marathon and from the usual track events.
In Africa, only South Africa has successfully ventured into the realm of extreme sports. The money raised from the October activities will be used to rehabilitate Mount Kenya, one of Kenya's important water towers that was also partially destroyed by fire early in the year.
I'm calling upon Kenyans, both corporate organizations and individuals, to register in big numbers so that we can all participate in this very new sporting event.
Not only are these games fun, but they're also stimulating and good for both the physical and emotional well-being.
As part of the Mount Kenya Extreme Sports Challenge, participants are required in a group of 4 to climb from down all the way up, definitely pushing your stamina and will and pushing yourself to heights you did not imagine possible, leaving you a changed person for the better. Carol Nderi for KTN at the Kenya School of Adventure and Leadership at the Mount Kenya Forest.
Thank you, Carol Nderi, for that report. Now, if you have confidence, next month it's you to decide whether to go to Mount Kenya for that extreme sport experience. But in studio, I'm joined by 2 guests whom I'll be discussing with what are the plans and what's the future of extreme sports in this country. And I'm joined by John Mwangi, who is the director of KSL, and of course, Terry Downes, who, I hope I pronounce it right, Terry Downes, who's the CEO, Senaka Security. But straight on, I'm shooting this question to John Mwangi. The theme we've seen in the likes of Rhino Charge, these things happening in the outskirts of town, maybe the theme is always conservation. Do you think you've gone the Rhino Charge way, or what do you think about this extreme sports experience?
Thank you very much, Nick, and welcome viewers. Really, I would want to say humans are special in a way that they would want to explore their prowess in many ways. And as an institution at Mount Kenya, and being an institution that deals with outdoor activities, outdoor education, we felt that we must be able to give the humans that opportunity, which is available all over the world, but rather limited in our environment. And as an institution based at this very heritage, we felt we cannot be left behind. You've commented about Rhino Charge doing very well, using machines and that kind of stuff. But Extreme Challenge, which is being hosted by Kenya School of Adventure and Leadership, is one that is giving human in their natural form to explore their prowess, engage with the environment, engage with the elements, and be able to demonstrate, to display their best part of themselves in terms of the psychomotor, in terms of the ability to perform, to do things, to get in the wild, and to really mix with nature. The truth of the matter is, when you are human and you are within the jungle, you enter in the challenges and you enjoy the adventure. Then what happens is that you get renewed, you get recreated, you get to appreciate nature more. The scenic views kind of just make you anew. And this is what we felt we should combine with the concept of having the extreme sports and also bringing now the element of supporting the environment. Because Mount Kenya is a heritage site, as we're talking now. And everybody who uses that mountain should be able to put something into it. And that's what the school is doing. We are getting something back to it.
Now, to cut it short, we've heard about Senaka Securities in this. Yes. Some of us are wondering, why is security again coming into this? What do you think now? This question goes to Terry. Senaka Securities, I can guess it's all about safety. Just carry it from there.
Yeah, it's correct. It's about safety. But in Seneca, we like to talk about creating an environment in which the management and staff can aspire to their full potential. That's the company's vision. So when we got to hear about what John and his team were doing in Kessel, for us, it aligns our ability to do that from the corporate boardroom and to take that and put it into the ground, onto the field. And what more beautiful place in the world to aspire to your full potential than on the slopes of Mount Kenya.
For a safety of a participant, you can say bungee jumping or the Fleet Marathon. Actually, you can say, do we have any forms of insurance? Because anything can happen. For you, you're offering safety, maybe wild animals, but now this participant is injured. Do you have any, both Terry and John, do you have any structures there that the participant can, when he or she is injured, at least he or she can be rescued?
First and foremost is that we fully understand this event is taking place in the jungle. And what we have done is with partners, we are collaborating with very many partners, including insurance firms, including emergency rescue farms. And for minor injuries, small things that might happen on the ground, we'll be having people to assist. Our staff are very, very competent first aiders. All of them is a requirement as trainers, and because we deal with the jungle throughout, day in, day out in our training activities, our staff are competent first aiders, and therefore for the very initial things, small things, first aid will be applied, and for anything that require that people are taken to medical facilities or something like that. God forbid doesn't happen, because our safety standards are usually very, very high. We had this event last year, and we didn't have a single event, a single incident where we required to evacuate anybody, because everything is worked out to details in terms of safety, in terms of making sure that the protection devices, when you're seeing people coming down from the rock, the protection is 100%. When you're you are seeing people running up to the Sky Marathon, to the peaks, the safety guards are quite tight. There's time barring as participants getting to a certain place, and you're not there by that time, then you're bad, because from the standard and what the assessment you've done, we know when you're not at point B at this time, then something must be wrong with your system, and therefore you need help. And that's why the route is properly manned, and proper advice is given to.
You've spoken about safety device, because sometimes some of us, we used to maybe safety device, used to these liabilities that maybe we're not sure of. I can throw this question to Terry. Safety device, you have to.
You know, we're very, very proud, because the Economist magazine recently mentioned that the launch of a new product, a company called Global Watch, which is our sister company. And if I can show your viewers, this is a very, very simple device, a GPS device that allows us to pinpoint your location to within 5 meters. So all of those athletes who are participating, who are going to be involved in that extreme part of the competition, they'll carry this device, which gives us the opportunity to be able to identify exactly where they are to within 5 meters at any point in time. And then, of course, that's linked to the emergency procedures and infrastructure that John has made reference to. So it's the first time in the world we're going to be able to introduce this kind of technology here in Kenya.
Now, John, another question to you. We are used to see these extreme sports events happening in the outskirts of our town, actually the main, let me say Nairobi, Kisumu. But now, is there any possibility this sport can come to town, or can come maybe just few kilometers from our capital city, because we're used to Mount Kenya, we go to Mount Elgon, yeah. Just is it possible for people who can't access the Meru side of Timau and the rest, just to have it here around the visibility of Nairobi?
Nick, to be frank with you, if you're talking about extreme sport, then it might not be fully transferred. We can't have it coming to Nairobi, though we can have some form of it, some type of it, coming closer in terms of activities that include high buildings or high craft that are going to be, we can erect or something like that, and we're going to move towards that direction where you can have artificial high walls, so which can be done. We can have. We can do that. But I still want to maintain that for the true extreme sports, you need to get somebody in the jungle. Somebody doesn't know where they are. They're supposed to find a treasure somewhere, and their team, they're supposed to look for it. They're competing with it with time. They're competing with finding the route. They're competing with the other teams, and be able to be out there. That is no extreme. That they can almost feel like they're on their own. But I think that is the route we are doing now, and I believe it's going to be a thriller to those people who are going to attempt it.
Sorry for cutting you short, but this time people are going to enjoy themselves. At the same time, I've seen their prizes for those who will win this. For the first time, actually, I'm seeing prizes will be for those guys who will win. You're going to try it for fun, but at the end of the day, if you win, you're rewarded. How come this time you introduced prizes for those guys? Because extreme sports is not for everyone. Actually, it entails a lot. I've tried it once. It's not a joke. And prize this time, what about it?
Prize is prize is a motivator. It's something you bring in so that people can, as they enjoy and as they have fun, they're also looking at something at the end of the day. It might not be the driver for all those who are getting involved, because we have teams from all over, even teams from abroad. We have been having foreigners to come and compete. These people will have spent a lot of money, and the price really cannot really be equated to the airfare, the time they are out here. But it is a small motivator. Such at the end of it, people have something to celebrate. You know, you want to celebrate achievements all the time, and that's just a small way of doing it. So
Terry, question to Terry. Sorry for cutting you short. Terry, talking about safety, the gadgets. Maybe if you can know the name, it's a Safari Watch.
Safari Watch is the
Safari
product.
Watch.
Yeah.
Is it a GPS or?
It's a GPS. So once we've got satellite, once we can see the sky, then we can pinpoint your location to within 5 meters, and that literally puts you under that bush or that bush.
Safari Watch aside now.
Yeah.
John talked about guys will be manning the area because it's the safety of the participants. What have you done so far? Maybe beg your pardon, to make sure this thing does not have any occurrences or any negative incidences, as you said, God forbid. What have you done so far as the key word? Let me underline that word: security of the participant.
Well, when you say security, I prefer to use the word safety because it's the same thing. And our company, we're very fortunate. We've had a lot of experience. We've organised safety for the Special Olympics, for the Ryder Cup on a couple of occasions. We look after the second largest stadium in Europe. So we have a background in this area. And when we got to hear that Kessel were involved, then you're combining two organisations that have a very genuine focus on safety, on experience, on standards. And for us, that's the key. So I would say to all our viewers, please come along. And I reiterate what John said. The prize is about being in an environment where you can aspire to your full potential. And for every single individual, whether you're experienced or not, you can be safe. And this is a place where you can have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to achieve that goal, to achieve that objective.
Thank you very much, guys, for coming to studio. And of course, before I leave, at least those interested should know when is this thing happening, because we've been doing these stories, but now the details. When is it happening? Thank you. In the right.
Very well. The details are such that we expect the participants to arrive on 12th of October, retest in the evening, so that they sleep over. This is very important because for those who are aspiring to do Sky Marathon is racing from 12,000 feet above sea level all the way to 16,000 feet above sea level. That's Point Lenana. Those people will have to sleep 10 kilometers away from base camp, which is quite a small distance up there. So they need to come on 12 and get to that point. They will be accommodated there and they will leave that place at dawn. For those who will be doing the Django race, there will be Django race for 21 kilometers for both female and male. There will be junior Django race, which will be 10 kilometers.
All the prizes.
All of them are prizes for the first. Of course, not everyone. For those who will be able to win. We have 10 kilometers for junior, both male and female, and we have also 21 kilometers half marathon in the jungle. It's a unique marathon. It's just not a normal marathon in the jungle. And then we'll have the extreme adventure sport itself, where people will be grouped in 4. And on that morning of 13th, it's important that they're there, because they will be given details. They will be given maps, they will be given routes, and they're supposed to design very quickly their maps, their routes, and that kind of stuff, and be able to take their bearings, such that they are going to go to a certain checkpoint, get some information there through the jungle, that is, and there are many teams already now as we're talking.
No directions.
No directions. This is why it's extreme. No directions, but you have you can map out your direction on your maps, and then you take off. Then you get to a certain checkpoint through the jungle, get the details to the other one. When you go to the other checkpoint, you'll find activities which adventurous activities, extreme adventure activities. Then you'll choose among your team members who is best fitted to do this. Then the best one will hit it, come down, then you move down, you get to another activity point. The best of you who is fitted to do it, you support him in whatever way possible, he gets it, and off you are. So every movement is, time is important, because while you're trying to find your route, time is important. When you're doing the activity, time is important. When you're checking in, time is important. So those activities will be running concurrently on 13th. All of them, the Sky Marathon will be on, the Extreme Adventure will be on, Django Race will be on, and all those activities will be manned at the same time.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming in studio. John Mwangi is the director, Kessel, and of course, Terry Downs, The CEO, Senaka Securities, talking about safety.